everybody, welcome back around to the Blog and Grill. I am your host, Doug, here with your video blog for March 11th, 2014. I have a great blog planned for you today. We're going to be looking at NFL free agency. We'll go to spring training. We'll do some quick hits, but first I want to talk bracketology, college basketball. It is championship week, the best time of the year, I think, in sports, just for debate and such. But first, I want to take a look at the new AP poll. Let's run down through it quickly. Top 4, Florida, Wichita State stay the same. Villanova jumps up to number 3. Arizona falls to 4. Louisville all the way up to number 5. Virginia and Duke at 6 and 7. Michigan, San Diego State, Kansas rounding out your top 10. Syracuse falling out at 27 and 4. They are number 11. Wisconsin 12, Cincinnati 13, Creighton 14. The Tar Heels are 15, so the ACC has 4 teams in the top 15. Then we have Iowa State and Oklahoma at 16 and 17. St. Louis and Memphis 18, 19. 20 is New Mexico. 21, UConn. Michigan State at number 22. BCU in at 23. Ohio State 24. And SMU in at number 25. Interesting for sure. Syracuse with only 4 losses has now fallen out of the top 10. There are 5 teams with more losses than them in the top 10 at this point. And still, number 1 seeds, I think, are up for grabs more than ever. Right now, currently, my number 1 seeds are Florida, Wichita State, who I think are locks for number 1 seeds. Villanova and Arizona are my other 2, and they are up in the air. There's a lot of teams in the hunt for number 1s, and the main teams, I think if Virginia, Duke, or Syracuse wins the ACC tournament, they're likely going to have 2 quality wins, so that is going to speak good for Syracuse or Duke or Virginia, and I think that team could get a 1 seed. I think if Louisville can win the American Conference tournament, they could become a 1 seed, and I also think Michigan has an outside shot at a 1 seed. The teams I don't like that people are talking about for number 1 seeds are Kansas. I don't think Kansas should get a 1. I don't think they'll do well in the Big 12 tournament with Joel Embiid out. We've seen them struggle without him. And the other team I don't like is Wisconsin. Wisconsin's beaten a lot of teams, but they just don't feel like a 1 seed to me, okay? Alright, so my next question is, next thing I was looking at is how good are the Big East and SEC? I don't know if I'm completely buying into Florida or Villanova. I know Florida's a very good team, but I don't know if they're head and shoulders above everybody else. I think the SEC is very, very, very weak. I think you're going to have a lot of bubble teams out of the SEC getting in, but I really think Florida is the only team that's going to win through to that second weekend in the SEC. And with the Big East, you really only have Villanova and Creighton that I think can make a deep run in this tournament. So these conferences are not deep and they're not playing good opponents, okay? I'm also going to make a case for who has the best top of their conference. I think the best top of the conference has to go to the ACC. They essentially have 3 teams, 4 teams in the top 15. That is the most of any conference at this point. I know the bottom half of the ACC is really weak, but I think the top half is solid, and I think we could see 2 of these top 15, 2 of these top 4 ACC teams make a run to the Final Four. For sure. Alright, big Syracuse fan here. A lot of talk has been made of what's the best case scenario for Syracuse. Really, the best case scenario is any scenario where they are in the East Regional. If they get in the East Regional, I think they can make a run to Dallas because they'll play in Buffalo their first weekend, MSG the second weekend, and they will be on their way to Dallas for sure. If they get into that East region, I think that Villanova could be a 1 in the East region if they win the Big East tournament. Syracuse would be a great 2. I think they can beat Villanova. They've already beaten them once, and they are a better team than Villanova for sure. Alright, we're going to have a lot more on bracketology as we go through the week. We're also going to get the big bracket like we had last year. I'll get the big bracket out. I'm also going to set up a bracket pool on ESPN.com. Look at the Blog and Grill page on Facebook for more information on that and how to log in. Want to get a lot of people in it. It'll be a lot of fun for sure. You'll get a little publicity on here if you can take me down. I got taken down last year. We'll see what happens this year. Alright, so many topics to talk about today. It's tough to get them all in for sure. That's why I wish I was on a more permanent platform. Let's get to NFL free agency, the big talk today. NFL free agency opening up at 4 p.m. today. The big talk is the quarterbacks. We got Josh McCown, Mark Sanchez, Michael Vick. The big talk is what is going to happen with these quarterbacks, who's going to start, who's not going to start. The only quarterback I think out of these three that will be a starter next year somewhere is Josh McCown. He showed last year that he still has a little bit left in the tank. He's been a journeyman all his career. I think he'll start. I think Sanchez could go to Houston and be a backup. I think Vick could go to Buffalo and be a backup to E.J. Manuel. Other big news, Santonio Holmes has been cut by the Jets. The Jets are freeing up cap space to make a run at somebody. I could see the Jets making a run at McCown. I could see them making a run at Golden Tate. So Santonio Holmes cut. Darrelle Revis will be cut sometime today as well by the Bucs. And that's why I'm saying the team with the most to gain that needs to gain something are the Jets. Geno Smith's not your answer. You don't have a lot of weapons at wide receiver. If they can go out and get McCown, get Golden Tate, maybe get another pass rusher, I think they're going to be in good shape going forward into the season. All right, let's head to spring training. We got some pitching injuries for the Braves that are not good. First on Sunday, Chris Medlin left the game with a forearm strain. Not sounding good there. He was going to be their number one. Brandon Beachy yesterday left with elbow tightness. So these guys, Braves don't have a lot of pitching. They lost Hudson. We'll see what they can do, but that's not good news for the Braves. Former Yankee Russell Martin hit his 4th home run of the spring yesterday. Russell Martin raking it in for sure right now. Yankees really dreading that loss. Yankee news, CC Sabathia is going to pitch today against the Nationals. That'll be good. And the race for the 5th spot rages on. And I'm going to say it right now. If Michael Pineda is healthy by the beginning of the year, his arm's good, he will be that 5th starter. He does not translate to the bullpen. David Phelps could be a middle relief guy. Adam Warren, a long relief guy. Those two guys will be on the big league club, but Pineda will win that 5th spot. All right, time for some quick hits. I fell to 1 and 2 this week in NASCAR Pick'em as Keselowski wins at Vegas. Let's take a look at the Cup standings, and the Cup standings are so much better this year. I like the thought of you have to win to get in. Junior, Keselowski, Harvick, all winners. They're the top 3. Then we got Johnson, Logano, Gordon, Edwards, Kenseth, Hamlin, Newman, Busch, McMurray, Biffle, Dillon, Kane, and Stenhouse Jr. as your top 16. Good showing by Austin Dillon so far through his first 3 races. But some guys outside looking in right now. Tony Stewart in 27th, Kurt Busch in 28th, Clint Boyer in 22nd. Marcus Ambrose, who's been in the chase the last 2 years, he's in 19th. So interesting stuff there for sure. Stenhouse Jr. and Casey Mears tied at 16th. I think Paul Menard could make a run. NASCAR heading to Bristol this weekend. We'll have more on that as well. More tickets for the NCAA tournament were punched last night as we saw 3 teams: Wofford from the Southern Conference, Manhattan from the MAC, and Delaware from the Colonial Athletic getting in. Congratulations to all of them. We're going to punch 4 more tickets tonight. And I'm going to tell you right now who those matchups are and what the game is to watch out of these 3. Let's go to college basketball quickly here. We have 4 conference title games tonight in college hoops. We have the Horizon League. Let's see here. We have the Horizon League title game tonight. We have the West Coast Conference game tomorrow night. I think we have the Northeast Athletic Conference title game tonight as well. So a lot of big title games, and the one to watch is going to be the West Coast Conference game between BYU, Gonzaga. Gonzaga's going to have an automatic. I think Gonzaga will get in regardless, okay? So the key is going to be what happens if Gonzaga loses this game. The bubble shrinks, all right? So our title games are going to be Mount St. Mary's and Robert Morris. That is in the Northeast Conference title game. We could have a team at 16 and 16 getting in, okay? The next one, the Horizon League, Milwaukee and Wright State. That game is at 7 o'clock. We have North Dakota State and IPF W going toe-to-toe in the Summit League title. And then we have BYU and Gonzaga. And BYU's kind of on the bubble right now. A couple more quick news and notes. Knicks win their 4th straight last night over the woeful Philadelphia 76ers, 123-110. They're now 3.5 games back of Atlanta. Next game for the Knicks is Wednesday at the Celtics. The Hawks will take on the Bucks on Thursday at home. All right, so Wednesday, kind of the same thing again. Bracketology, free agency, spring training. I'm getting the bracket pool set up. Follow me on Twitter. Yankee Baller 415. Comment, question, subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning into the Vlog and Grill. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good Tuesday.